Roger Federer, I'm so glad you're through to the next stage. Um, that match was crazy today. I think you know that. But I know I, as a fan, and scores of your fans are so proud of you. The way you were able to just really pull it out, hold the line through all of the tension, and just really, really make things work for yourself and let the match come to you and just really turn the tide in your favor and pull out the win. So, in the end, I just feel like it was a really, really good thing. It was probably like a really good thing for you to be able to sort of um, have an experience with what you said today, like playing the match point by point, which I love because I talked about it before. So I feel really happy that you are, playing it point by point. And you know what? If you actually feel like the match was sort of brutal or whatever, I just think like that's the perfect sign of something. Like I feel like you're on the brink of something really huge, and things, when you decide to sort of change up your game a little bit or change your approach to your game a little bit, there are parts of you that really resist that because you're used to playing in a different way. You're used to looking at things in a different way, and then you start playing something new, you start activating parts of maybe your mind or your belief system, or like even your motor skills, or your functioning in your body. Like you start activating something different. The old part that's wired to operate the old way starts to kind of protest. And I, just know, like, I can't say that all of those things are necessarily happening, but I'm just throwing it out there to say that for you. Like, if you're finding something to be like brutal and hard or whatever, like, just know, like, you, once that comes up, like, you are so on to something. Like, you're gonna, as soon as you break through all of that, whether it be resistance or some type of just, mountainous kind of feeling of something new being really, really hard or difficult or strenuous, that, once you break through it, which I believe you did today, it's not going to be an issue for you anymore. So, just congratulations on that. That match for me was just really, I saw you actually get, like the first set was taken, and I was just like, okay. And then I was watching, and then on top of that, like, for whatever reason, I had a whole bunch of stuff open on my computer, but for whatever reason, like, I was watching online, and then the computer wasn't streaming the match like fast enough for me. Like, some of the plays were freezing a little bit, and then on top of that was like, you were having a tough time. I was just like, I can't even deal with this anymore. Like, seriously, I just can't deal with this. I don't know what's going on. Like, you were definitely behind, and I was just like, I can't. Nah, not today. So I was like, I'll just watch the scores. And definitely, if you're interested, go to my Twitter page, which is www.twitter.com/ohworldgirl, and you will see the whole story. You have the time, like, between me, myself, and then me communicating with other fans. Like, at one point I was like, I'm just turning this match off. I'm praying for Federer. I'm watching the score alone. Like, I just couldn't bear to watch the match. So again, that brings my mind, like, to Mirka, who's so amazing. Like, Mirka, how could I say, like, we as fans just love and adore you, and just love and adore, your relationship, because, I mean, I couldn't stand to watch that match, and it was like, Federer's down, and I'm not saying this, like, if you guys are watching this, I'm not saying this to, like, feel like this is something where, Roger, you need to be, like, on the court and then thinking, like, oh, damn, my fans are going to be disappointed. We make a choice to observe and follow and enjoy your journey in this. So anytime any fan, as far as I'm concerned personally, if me as a fan is going to become something that, you know, ever causes anything that is not adding to your game, then, you know, definitely chop it off. You know, definitely chop it off, because you know, we as fans we make a choice, you know, and I think in order for you to perform your best too, like, you shouldn't have to have the pressure of worrying about how, you know, the fans might feel, even though we want you to win, even though if that helps you to win, and that's beautiful. But that's not going to help you to win. That's going to be just another burden and worry in your mind when you're trying to win. And don't even worry about seriously. I'm not saying disregard the fans or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, you know, we definitely have so much love for you guys, and you know, I just want to see you take it as far as you can and more, you know, because I know you can take it far, and that's what I believe was so great about this match, Roger, today. Like, I think this match was, like, again, like a secret, you know, it was like a blessing in disguise, I think, you know, for an opportunity for you to try something which seems new to me, like, or try a certain new approach, you know, just really staying in the match, staying focused, staying present, and just, you know, just keep applying yourself, and look at how you turned it around, you know. And it's not that you haven't turned around matches before in the past, but I just really get the sense that, you know, I really felt like when you got your interview today that you were, like, really, really happy. And I haven't seen that in a while, and it felt like the match was a bit of a revelation for you in a certain way. So, you know, I just really support you in this, in saying that, you know, this is so good. And if you keep up that effect, I've been wanting to say this in my videos for a really long time, but if you just keep up, you know, that attitude, like that palm tree attitude, you know, and I think of palm tree because palm trees actually, when there's a storm, or a hurricane, or any type of fierce winds, like, palm trees have a certain amount of, you know, they have a certain amount of give, but they don't break. You know, they'll bend in the wind. They'll bend, and they'll have a certain level of resilience, which allows them to subsist. You know, and it's kind of like, sort of, I think, what happens in a tennis match too, to a certain extent. You know, it's that guy who could kind of just, you know, figure out a way, like, let all of this adversity be thrown at you, let the damn kitchen sink be thrown at you, and get, you know, kind of like in the movies sometimes when the hero's, like, getting beat up so bad by the villain or whatever, you know, you see these movies, like, you're like, damn, he's really getting beat up, you know. And not that I was saying that about you today, but I'm just saying, like, thinking about, like, those movies, like, you think, like, oh man, like, he's really getting beat up, and then toward the end, that hero, like, makes the comeback and just wins the fight or whatever. And I feel like, you know, to a certain extent, like, that's like that palm tree effect, you know what I mean? Like, the wind, the hurricane wind is blowing, and you're kind of allowing, you're adapting and dealing with that force, but then it's your time to come back. You don't break under the pressure, you know, you roll with it, you move with it, you know, and you still keep your way, the way that palm tree still keeps its integrity, but it's just moving with the way to let the certain wind go, but still staying itself, and still standing up in the end and winning and never breaking. So just really kudos to you. I was really unable to get a sense that of what was happening in the match. Like, all I was doing was looking at the scores, and then there was, like, one point where now the match was so many hours ago, and it's been like an emotional roller coaster, that match. I kind of am going blank, but there was like one point where there were times when you were like almost breaking Benneteau, and it was like you were up. All I was doing was like looking at the scores. That's where I could not watch that match. I mean, just for the sake of my health. So I just I just straight looked at the scores like a mad woman. I just waited for them to change. And then you would see like 40, on his serve, you would see, oh my gosh, good, Federer's got 40 on Benneteau's serve, and then Benneteau would get up to 40, and then you would see advantage Federer, and then you'd be waiting, and then you would see 40-40, and you're like, damn it, come on, Roger. And then you would see advantage Roger Federer. You're like, yes, come on. And then you're holding your breath, and then you would see 40-40 again. You're like, oh man, Roger, close it out. And then Benneteau took it, But there was a time where, it was that third set, seriously, seemed like, just by a hair, like you just pulled that off. But I was just waiting for that 6 to turn to 7. I was like, I'm not trying to hear anything or see anything else until Roger Federer's 6 turns to a 7. Boy, I was praying for you. Boy, I was sending all triumphant forces to you at that time. And I was telling people on Twitter, send Roger Federer some support, like some energetic support right now. Everybody. So, today was really, really off the hook. But I really feel like this is a great victory. I feel like you haven't seemed so happy in so long, and just... For me, I'm just like, really absorbed today, because I don't know if it's just you on the court or whatever. Again, I don't know you personally, but it always seems like, you kind of are very conservative in certain ways, over the last couple of years especially. There used to be a time when both you and both Rafa and other people used to be really smiling when they won, and then that stopped. And you did crack a couple of smiles today, which was great. But really just, if you haven't already, just take a moment to really let that win, like, just sink into your bones. Like, let your smile come full to your face and just revel in it, and just enjoy the deliciousness of the moment, just... I don't know, for a better word, wallow in it. You know what I mean? Let it just really seep into your bones, this win today, like that happiness, and you're giving yourself a moment to really celebrate it. So again, I'm so glad, that you said, that you played everything point by point. I watched some of the match afterward, which was a better situation for me. I'm sorry, I'm just working through my own issues as a fan, and sorting out issues with myself where I should be able to sit down and watch a match and not be so hugely emotionally tied. Not like I'm crying or anything like that, but I was just getting pissed. I was just, that has nothing to do with you. It just has to do everything with me. So I have to really learn how to sort through that in a certain way. So, and I'm working on it. But definitely this weekend, I rest up, have a wonderful time, and I just want to give you some great affirmations to say, like, let's see, today it looked like it was of course, obviously, really a high stakes match, obviously, but one that had a lot of effort into it. So obviously and legitimately, you may be tired at the end of the day, but I think some great affirmations to say right now is just before you go to bed. This is just something, and it's a suggestion, and if this is not for you, then that's totally fine. But I would say I get a restful night's sleep. Like, just set your intention before you go to bed. Like, I get a really restful night's sleep. I awake fully revitalized. I awake fully rejuvenated. I awake fully refreshed. and fully ready to go into my next match. I just am totally rejuvenated. And just, tell yourself that. Keep telling yourself that. Because if you are tired and there was a lot of work and you had to stretch into some sort of athletic exertion that you normally might not have to put out this early on in a tournament, or this, I don't even want to say that, but if you find your mind's like starting to go toward, I need to conserve myself and all of this, like, just start just start saying, what, I'm revitalized, I'm refreshed, I'm recharged, I'm renewed, I'm ready physically, I just have all the energy that I need, I claim all the energy that I need, and just, just notice how that feels. And because I feel like if you allow yourself to, like, allow your mind to get a little bit tired from this match, it'll be like a mental block for another match if you have to do something really physical, to be like, oh, I don't want to put this out there like that, because maybe you're not even thinking that way, but just definitely be aware of the effect, and don't let your mind go to a place where it's like, oh, I'm, not to say that you're not tired, but don't let anything sort of affect any heavy judgment or whatever about how much energy you expended today or anything like that. Just keep claiming that you have enough energy, freshly renewed and revitalized energy to go on to the next match, and just believe it, And there's something for me about affirmations. Once you start saying them, you really just start tapping into the possibility of what is. Like, for me, those words, revitalize, rejuvenate, refresh, renewed, ready, like, those things just get me really, really pumped up. So, hopefully it'll be the same for you. But if it isn't something that works for you, I just ask, see if you can find something that works for you that will give you what you need, so that you're not anywhere concerned, and any part of your psyche is concerned about conserving energy, or feeling tired later on, or anything like that. Although you looked terrific from what I saw the rest of today, even though I know you were a little bit, it was a little bit taxing. So, yeah, and there's another thing too, like, if I don't get to make another video, because it's just been such a hectic week for me, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to make one this weekend, because I do want to talk to you actually about what your intention is for the second week of Wimbledon. Are you calling on your heroes? Are you calling on the people who pump you up? What's your self-dialogue like? Are you listening to anything in your iPod to pump you up before matches, if that's something that would really work for you? Like, what's your strategy for the rest of, Wimbledon, And there's a couple of things, too, like, these guys thinking they could get a first set off of you, or these guys just thinking that they could just go for broke against you and try to win. I definitely have some things that I would love to throw out there, that I'm going to throw out there in another video tomorrow. I just wanted to make a quick one today, which is why this, it's not so quick, but which is why you can't see me, because I'm just, like, in for the night and not camera ready. So, yeah, so lastly, I don't know if I mentioned this, but it'd be cool too, like, just to remember, I think breathing technique really helps. Now that you seem to be talking more about playing, and focusing on each play individually, actually just making sure that you, like, breathe and not take shallow breaths is really helpful, especially an exhale, at the least, like an exhale, like, just to get out all of the mini tension that builds up and stuff like that. And also I will talk about some additional things to hopefully throw out there, like tactics to help you feel more rested, it will probably be more yogic little things, but you know, they work very well. I will talk about that this weekend. And finally, what else? I think that is pretty much it. I feel like this match was really awesome today because I just feel like it was a great way for you to just sort of hold, you know, like just have good good practice in holding the line and in turning, you know, in going for the long haul and actually fighting for the long haul and turning the tide in your favor and winning. And I just give you so much kudos. I just really give you great kudos for pulling that out. Now, I just think that eventually, you know, when you start playing point by point, when you start doing all of that stuff, like the next time it's not going to seem like boring. And I don't really 100% know that from your comment that you were actually saying that it was boring, but it's just my feeling that you might feel like that is kind of boring. And so I hope that you'll be able to like sort of make some fun into it. And then also Jack Canfield, who I talked about a few times in my other videos, he's like a motivational self-development person, and he wrote a book that I really love called The Success Principles. But there in the Success Principles, there's one chapter in there called Leaning Into It. And yeah, and that's what I would tell you. Like, if the point by point thing is like something is boring for you, unfortunately, that's really unfortunate. But you know, the payoff is that it seems to be working, so that's a good thing. But just be aware of how much your mind is like resisting it. Like when you go to do it, like how much your mind arises like, oh, this is like a pain in the ass to do, or oh, like this is boring, like this doesn't stimulate me, or whatever. You know, like if you can just lean into it, like, okay, it's this point time, like how can I make this fun? You know what I mean? Like even though you're not going to be having like a lot of fun while you're trying to play a match, but just lean into it. You know what I mean? Like when you go in to do it, just lean into it like with the best attitude possible, and just try to make absent the part, like just embrace it. You know what I mean? Like just embrace doing it. If that makes any sense, instead of just kind of allowing your feelings and emotions to arise and just dread it. You know what I mean? And if it's a problem, and just sort of make absent the dread, then just try to turn the dread into something fun. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly what to suggest for that, but just try to lean into it and make it fun. And you know, just be aware of that judgment that comes up, like, oh, this again. You know what I mean? But it seems like you did a fantastic job, absolute fantastic job with this. So I'm sure, you know, you'll start doing that point by point thing to a certain extent on autopilot. You know, like if this is a thing that works for you and you really keep up with it, which I think is a very good thing to do. And you know, you'll just be kind of an autopilot, leaning in and just doing it, you know, and then playing tennis and then enjoying it, and then it won't seem so rigid. I believe. I feel like eventually it won't feel like something so rigid and mechanical, maybe, or just restrictive. You know, you'll be able to I think incorporate it into something that will morph into something that will free up your game more and just add to it, and therefore it will be fun in the whole process, hopefully. So yeah, just definitely try to lean into it. But I think you're doing a great job, Roger. I think for Roger Federer himself, and then for the fans and stuff, I feel like this was just one of the best matches. Probably, in my view, it feels like it gave Roger Federer a certain wake-up call, like, this is what it's going to cost to win. Do you want it? And what Roger Federer said was, hell yeah, I want it, and hell yeah, I'm taking it. So this is all really good, and just batten down the hatches, you know what I mean? Like, all the way through to the finish line, you know? You've got some other guys coming up and stuff like that, and just really sit down and decide, like, How do I want to go into the second week of Wimbledon? How do I want to start my first set at Wimbledon? How do I want to start, how do I want to start my second set at Wimbledon? And that type of thing. What am I doing at night? Like, make yourself a bedtime intention. And I will also suggest too, like, since you really seem like you want this and are focused and poised to take it, from what I see you fighting so hard today, that if you do have anything intent, and this is totally just something I'm throwing out there, it's not really any of my concern, but I'm just throwing it out there, like, outside of your immediate family, like, if you have any kind of parties or whatever that you're trying to go to, or old friends to catch up with, I would really suggest, honestly, just really focusing on tennis. Like, anything out that lies outside of your own personal obligations with your immediate family, Mirka and your girls, and this is really not my territory or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, that could be like more hours to just really batten down the hatches. You know what? And this is just 1 week out of your life, but this 1 week is the week you're going to look back on in 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 25, you know what I mean? And so if there's anything that doesn't really have to do much with tennis, and if you truly know that you can focus on tennis for the rest of the week, for just another 7 to 8 days, or 9 days, if you know that you could just, for those 9 days, like, just commit to just being with your family and being focused on tennis, and not really doing much outside of that, and then later seeing friends or whatever, if you really know that you can do that, and that you could really do without doing that, then I definitely suggest you do that for this week, because this is something that you really and truly want, and you need every bit of your focus for it. But if this is something, like, you're going to be suffering or whatever, if you don't get out and do certain things that really feed your soul or whatever, then do whatever you obviously need to do. But it's just my suggestion, as just as a fan. So whatever works for you. But yeah, good luck with everything. Don't really have much else to say. Sorry about this screen being like this, but I'm really, really so happy, and I can't tell you how many fans are really, really proud of you. And people were just saying what a champion you are, and there's a difference. They weren't saying, oh my gosh, Roger Federer is such a winner. They were saying, what a champion, to come back after all that, to just hold it. And I don't know if you saw Benneteau said that you were mentally as solid as a rock, that he couldn't tell anything from your face, like no facial expression. So I'm just so happy. I'm happy, Roger. I'm really, really, really happy, and I feel like you had a revelation again in this match. And I know that you can apply this and get through. I really hate to, like, go fast forward up the ladder, but you can get through any one of these guys doing this. And today was hard, but what I learned in track as well, like, there were times I got on the track and I ran with girls who were really, really fast, and it increased my time by 5-6 seconds. And I was freaking exhausted and drained after the races, like, but I ran a whole 5 seconds faster. And 5 seconds in real life, just talking doesn't seem like anything, but a 5-second difference on a track is actually a huge, huge stretch. So I just say, after I increased my running by 5 seconds, like, I never went back. I always stayed, my norm was at whatever that time was and lower. So now you did, to bring it back to you, now that you did what you needed to do today, and it seemed like it was kind of brutal for you or whatever, you know, it's going to be so much easier the next time. It's going to be so much easier. And, you know, you're going to have so much more of your game even more available to you, because you won't be dealing with your mind judging it like, oh shit, this is brutal. Like, oh, I didn't mean to curse. I'm sorry. But, you know, like, oh, this is, you know, oh man, he just got me back or whatever. Anyway, I don't know what you were thinking totally, but I'm just saying, like, it will be a little easier. You'll be used to the heat. You know what I mean? Like, you were standing right by the stove. You were standing right by the fire, and it was burning high, and you did not move out of the kitchen. You know, there's a saying where it says you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Well, you could stand the heat, and you were in the kitchen, you know. So the next time heat and intensity comes out in a match, you're going to be able to handle that a lot easier, and therefore you're going to be able to step your game up even more, because the amount of space that your own mind took today, probably, like, with doubting at certain times and worry at certain times, like, you won't be doubting and worrying so much the next time, because you know, like, okay, listen, I've been here and I know I could do this. Let me just stay calm, hold the line, and focus at every point, and you know, and create opportunities for myself, and I'll do it, you know. And you're definitely going to need that, so you're on the right path. And I think, again, this was a blessing. This is like a total sort of, I don't want to say I'm not, by saying wake up call, I'm not saying, oh my gosh, you were asleep, because you've been playing great in your matches, actually. But I feel like it's just really like, listen, if you want this, it's going to cost the price. You know, it's going to cost something high, and you're ready to pay. So you know, you paid the cost to win that match today. So congratulations. I'm going to end this video and talk to you soon. Have a good one. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. I'm going to make another video. I'm really going to try to make it before Sunday. I've been like super busy or whatever, but I'm really going to try to make another video, because I just want to ask you some questions about you, what's your mindset and coming into the second week. What are you expecting to do? What are your new promises for how you're going to act in adversity, how you're going to attack the game, how you're going to break down other opponents' games, how you're going to continue to deal with heat and intensity, how your management of heat and intensity is going to be, and how you could refine that and keep developing it. And yeah, and also dealing with just recharging, a couple of other strategies for recharging, and what else? Couple breathing techniques maybe that I find that are great. And then yeah, that's pretty much it for now. And then I also want to talk about just sort of something called intervals, that in track I used to run intervals, and I kind of want to talk about that in relationship to your tennis game. So I will talk to you later. Have a good one. Enjoy your win. Let that seep in your bones. Don't, you know, if anything's coming in your mind, to like just sort of cut that off and go, oh, it was only one day. Don't let it. Like, it's a totally amazing victory for you. You held the line, and I just give you huge kudos, and just make sure that you just sit in that delight for a moment, like, hey, I came through this today, you know what I mean? Just let that reverberate through your body, through your bones, because you really, really, that's how you're going to feed your just your psychological wheels, you know? So, yep. 33 minutes is always really easy to talk to you, Roger Federer. As you can see, my best to you and my best to Mirka. You know, really, Mirka's amazing. You should do something really nice for her, because I could not handle that match, and I see today she was just sitting there so strong and like stoic, and just, I don't know if I could have been able to handle it. I guess, you know what, once you're in something, you can do it. Like, probably if I were there, I could handle it. But me looking at it, I'd be like, oh my God. Me looking at it as an outsider, you know, is another story. So, kudos to you, Mirka. and Roger Mirka could probably use a really nice massage, a foot massage, some pampering, a nice pedicure and a manicure, so send her to the spa or something. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.